The following is a fictitious encounter. Both characters, all events are fictitious and not real. So, Lars, how have you been doing this week?
All right.
All right. How's your family?
They're good. They're good. I had dinner with them the other day.
That's nice. Did you talk during dinner?
Yeah. Me and my new friend went over there for dinner with my brother and my sister-in-law.
Oh, is this Bianca?
Yes. Yes.
How's Bianca doing?
She's doing good. We had to go to the doctor again.
Mm-hmm.
And they said her blood pressure was a little low, but she's doing good.
That's good. That's good. And you still going to church?
Yes, every Sunday.
How are other people reacting to Bianca?
I think they like her. They talk to her.
So she's making some good friends?
Yeah, she seems to be.
I know it can be hard when you move to a new location.
Yes, yeah, especially with her, not being able to walk. That was difficult, but everybody seems really helpful.
So how are you coping with this new change?
Good. Bianca's starting to go out more than I'm comfortable with, but I'm trying to go with her.
Okay, where are you going?
Well, we went to a party from one of my friends at work, and that was good. Bianca started working at the mall, so I pick her up there sometimes. Sometimes my sister does it. Sometimes they bring her home. I take her out to the lake. We've gone out there a few times. It's a good place for us to talk. And then church. Of course, we go to church.
Now, how does this change make you feel?
A little nervous, but I think it's good for me to get out of the house. And Bianca helps me get out of the house. It's nice not to have to go places by myself.
That's good, and it sounds like you might be going to more places than you did in the past.
Yes. Yep, we are.
And do you like meeting more people?
I've known a lot of them for most of my life. It's not that big of a town. But I've met a few new people, and they seem nice. And I've talked to some of the people I already know. I've talked to them more. So I think that's good.
And it sounds like you're really taking care of Bianca because she can't take care of herself that much.
Right. She can't walk. My brother and sister-in-law help get her to bed, and my sister-in-law helps her with dressing and all of that stuff. I've taken her to her doctor's appointments, and yeah, with everybody's help, it's easy to care for Bianca, and I like being around her.
So it sounds like this new responsibility is pretty good for you.
I think so.
Okay. Now, you said in our last session that you don't really go out that much, and you said now that you're starting to talk more to people that you already know. Are you feeling more comfortable out in public?
Yeah, well, yeah. Um, I still get nervous sometimes, especially when, people come talk to me. It's easier when they come and talk to Bianca and then, say something to me. But when they come and talk to me directly, sometimes I don't know why, but sometimes it's harder then. I mean, I like it. I like talking to people, but I think it's just kind of hard to open up to people and have conversations with them.
Okay. And are you feeling it's easier to talk to people?
With Bianca there, yes.
And you're still not very comfortable talking on your own then?
I'm getting there.
Okay. Now, a lot of times when we have new responsibilities or new people in our lives, we have different thoughts and we have different ideas because there's a lot more in our lives to give us thoughts and ideas. Are you thinking more about your relationships?
Well, I know I think I'm getting worried about my sister-in-law because, she's really nice and she's really nice to me. And my brother and her are getting ready to have a baby. And, my mom died when she was having me, and I'm kind of worried that now that I care about her that she's gonna go away too. So I have been thinking about that a lot. Bianca's made me think about that a lot.
Okay. And have you been able to talk to Bianca about a lot of this?
Not really, because she has her own problems with not being able to walk and with the blood pressure and having to go to the doctor and being so sick. She has her own problems too, and I worry about her too. So I don't really want to bother her with, thoughts of other people.
Okay. Is there anybody in your life that you do talk to?
Bianca's doctor's really nice. We talk sometimes. I've talked to her sometimes. I talked to my brother, but not about that really. I did ask him other stuff about from when we were kids, but
Okay. Sometimes it's important to have people that we can turn to when we're worried and ask questions. Now, are you able to take care of yourself now that you have these extra responsibilities with Bianca? Are you eating and sleeping all right?
Yeah, all of that's fine. Yeah, I never really had problems with that. It was more, getting out, going places.
Okay. Now, you mentioned you've been meeting more people, getting out more. Has the dynamic at your work changed at all?
Yeah, my one friend, I talk to her more now. She goes to my church too. And so that's nice. And they've, I've gone to a party at another coworker's house. So that was nice. So it seems like I can talk to some of my coworkers a little bit better now that I'm going out more.
Okay. Now that you've been able to get out more and speak to people, do you feel like you can build better relationships?
Yeah, I think I'm better at building relationships. I think it still takes me time, but I do think I'm a lot better at it than I was.
Okay. Now, I'm kind of running out of questions.
So what do you think? Here, we'll break. What do you think we've got?
Well, I was skimming the adaptive functions of the ego as we were going, and trying to gauge that. Reality testing, impaired, because hallucinations or delusions there.
Delusions, yeah.
Sense of judgment. His sense of judgment seems like it's doing pretty well, though. His capacity to choose behaviors that are likely to promote movement towards goals. It seems like he wants to get out more, and he's making those decisions to do that because he has to help Bianca out.
Right.
His identity, I think, is improving because now he's got responsibilities with Bianca. His place in the community is being better established as he builds these relationships outside of his home. Impulse and affect control. I was trying to gauge that, but I'm not quite sure. Like his emotions versus his thought processes.
See, I think that, to me, the impulse and affect control, I would see that as pretty strong, as really strong with Lars, actually, because he seems to think everything out. There's nothing really impulsive about him.
True.
No, there's nothing drop of the hat, I'll make that decision. And it's almost strong to the point of causing him harm.
Except for buying Bianca. That was the one.
But even then, it seemed like he thought about it a lot.
True.
I mean, I'm not going to say thought about it a lot, but realized that he thought about it enough that he probably watched her whole little scenario on the internet. If you saw the part where his brother was looking the girls up on that website, it said, you know, I'm so-and-so and I'm a teacher and blah, blah, blah. So he had to have done that, picked the one he wanted, got her there. And, I mean, it may not have even been spur of the moment. I almost feel like he bought Bianca because he was really close to wanting to branch out, and he thought that was a safe way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously from the website, it's not like they said, here's a real person for you. He knew what it was. He knew he wasn't getting a real person in a crate. I mean, somewhere in his head, he knew this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could have been impulsive, but it still seems like somehow he really thought this through. So maybe his affect control and impulse is strong, but because of his delusions, it makes, you know, it's the delusions that impair things, not his impulses. So I don't know.
He's very adaptive in his use of defenses, and he's just lucky that the defenses work in his community. Going stimulus barrier, he really can't tolerate much stimulus at all. So Bianca's kind of pulling him out of his home.
Right.
Slowly gets to the point where he can shake someone's hand without a glove on. Adaptive regression in service of the ego. A break in intense concentration or attention to some stimuli. I'm not quite sure about this one. Can permit oneself to release hold on reality temporarily to serve a compelling need. Then yeah. He does regress a little bit in order to adapt and overcome his need for social interaction when he doesn't know how to do it. I mean, his mom wasn't there, his dad wasn't there, his brother wasn't there. He didn't get that when he was a kid, so he has no idea how to do that as an adult.
Yeah.
Mastering competence refers to his ability to influence. Of course, he does realize that by going out, he's improving his situation. He's taking care of Bianca. I think he might not realize how much influence he has on his environment. Because a lot of it he attributes to Bianca instead of himself. And that's what leads to the argument with his sister-in-law.
Right.
And this synthetic integrated function. This one might need some work. Because he has his values and emotions, but he's not quite sure about his behavior and limiting himself.
Yeah. And there's definitely fragments there in his just overall sense of self. Just like, how old would you say Lars is? 23, 24? Early 20s?
Maybe even mid-20s, because he looks like he's really well entrenched at his office, working there for a few years. But he might have some extended training on that. I don't know, actually. I hadn't thought about his age too much.
Well, but, okay, so he's old enough to have a job. He's old enough to a decent job. He's old enough that he's got the car, and he's old enough that they're fine with him living in a house separated from theirs. But he still has that point in the movie where he's asking his brother, what does it mean to be a man? How do you know when you're a man?
Yeah.
He should have already reached that and been beyond that by the time you were holding down the job and everything. So that's what I was thinking. There's, like you said, he's got his values and emotions together, but there's still parts of him that he's just not integrated yet.
So I think that would be my focus as a clinician moving forward, is looking at how he, as an individual and not as Bianca's sidekick, is building relations. Have him pay more attention to when people are in conversation with you and Bianca. Do they ask you questions, or they ask you questions about Bianca? Are they talking to you or her? And see how much of a role he plays in those relationships, because he might not realize how big of a role he plays. Because a lot of it is, oh, these are Bianca's friends, and he doesn't realize, no, they're my friends pretending to like Bianca for my sake.
Right. Which is why he had the big blow up with the sister over that.
So that's what my focus would be moving forward.
Yep, that sounds good.
And I'm going to end it here. The previous interaction has been falsified. All characters and events are fake.